Convert if condition to switch case. I copied the very first line from the previous example. So if you want to do that too, you can go ahead and copy the first line from our previous example and paste it. That will speed up your process. Now, I'm going to be writing an if condition solution for this problem. Okay. If guest count equals to 10, sys out surcharge, enter number of guests in multiples of 10. Okay, let's do it this way. Okay, if guest count equals 10, then surcharge. Again, when you run this example, it will ask for the number of guests. If you enter a value which is 10, 20, or 30, it will going to give you a valid count. Otherwise, a valid surcharge. Otherwise, it'll just tell you $400 for all of the values other than 10, 20, and 30. So if I enter, let's say 30, it will tell me 275. If I enter, let's say 40 or 50 or any other value other than 10, 20, 30, it'll going to tell me 400. Just a simple example that I will transform into an equal and switch case. Switch case only works if you have a one variable to work with. And in this case, we have guest count. Okay, switch guest count. Case 10. That means if the number of guests equals 10, then you will display this output, and then you will break. If it is equal to 20, if it is equals to 20, you will display this output and break. If it is equals to 30, you will display this output and break. And for else, we have default. You're going to then display this output and break. And again, using the shortcut Control-Shift-F, I was able to organize my entire switch case according to the Java standards in Eclipse. So when you're done, you run just to make sure that it works fine. Again, if I enter 20, I get two solutions, one from this switch case and one from the if condition. And you can see that you get the same output. What is the case? So case means that check to see if the value of guest count matches this case, means 10. So case pretty much means check in that case. Yeah. It's just a comparison operator, equal, and instead of equal equals, it's just case. So if the case is 10, then this is the output, and then you break out of the switch case. If case is 20, you displays that this is the output, then you break out, and it just goes like that. And default is like else. So whichever case the value of guest count matches, that case will be true, and that case will run. And all of the cases will be skipped because of the break, which will force you to jump to line 29. Unlike C#, Java does not require the default to also have a break. C# forces the default to also have a break. Now, let's save this example as convert if condition to switch case 2. Just add 2 in the name. Click File, Save As, and just add a number 2. Why is line number 2 in error?
Because the file name and the class name need to be the same.
Okay, and how can you fix it?
Just by adding, well, in this case, just adding a 2 to the end.
Okay,
After
do
public
you
class convert if condition, the switch case, just make it a 2.
so do you have to type 2?
Yeah.
Is there an alternate?
I don't think so.
There is. Hover over and it will ask you rename. Okay, so if the names are a lot different, then this makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, also one of the benefit to hover over and clicking it, if you have constructors and other calls to the constructor, all of them will change. Okay, so if you hover over and choose replace, it just replace all occurrences to the new name. So that's the benefit of doing it this way. Anyway, what I want to do next is I want to have an OR. If number of guests is equals to 10, or guest count equals to 20, 30, or guest count equals to 40, or guest count equals to 50, it is 60, and that's it. Okay, so I made some changes with 2 or more ORs, and in one case I just left it to a single condition. That way we'll be able to cover OR, and also we will learn what is a replacement of OR in the switch case. So I'm just trying to do multiple things in one example. I said that we will be using an OR operator on line 6 and 8, so that we can also see how OR operator can be used. And then we will also learn what is an OR equivalent in switch. An OR, unlike AND, is true when one of the conditions is true. Okay, I'm just going down to, if you have a bunch of cases OR, you just list them. List case 10, and when multiple cases are in the same break, they automatically act as OR. Okay, so we have case 30, case 40, case 50, case 60. Okay, just like that. So as you can see, it is much easier to code this problem in switch than it was in an if. Things just line up so well. And whenever you're done, go ahead and test it. So I'm testing it with the value of 50, and I expect the output to be 200 twice from each one of them, and that's what I get. Okay, is everybody done with this example?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we will create a new class where we will learn about switch cases as they can work with data types other than numbers. So we're going to call this one switch case example 1. String name equals to, this time I'm going to take the J option pane approach. Enter a name. Switch name. If the name equals Jenna, or the name equals James, or the name equals Jamil, then the case manager is skim show. If case equals Casey, Carl, then case manager is Sarkhan. Otherwise, for all other names, case manager is Mark Anthony. So a dialog box will pop up on your screen. You will enter a name, such as Jenna, for you to get an output, Kim Shu. Now remember, strings are case sensitive. So that's why you have to make sure that you enter the name exactly the way that it is. So this is where we were accepting a string from user, and then we were checking it against the switch case. This kind of stuff was recently, I would say a few years back, was added. Prior to a few years ago, Java did not support string type because of its being non-primitive in the switch case. But string is the only class type that is allowed in switch case.